Today I'm reviewing BurgerTime from Arcade1up, and like many of you, I've been super hyped for this cabinet. It looks beautiful. I know a lot of you have pre-ordered yours, some of you have probably already received yours, but if you haven't received it yet, my goal here is to walk through it as if you were there in the room and try to answer any question I had when watching some of the other reviews that are posted so that we can hopefully get a complete look at the cabinet. But I'm not perfect. I could leave some stuff out or miss some details. If you have questions, let me know below in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you on that and look into the cabinet further. I'm going to be rating this across 4 dimensions: the look or aesthetics of the cabinet, the gameplay quality, the game's list itself, and then finally the overall value of the cabinet and whether or not I recommend it. And if you're enjoying this channel, by the way, I'd like to ask you to subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. And for anybody who has already subscribed to Unqualified Critics, I thank you very much. Looking at the visuals of this cabinet, gorgeous, and I probably don't have to tell you that. It's every bit as beautiful, or even more so, honestly, in person than what you've seen in photos and in video, where it looks great also. The artwork is bright and gorgeous. The marquee looks very good. It's not washed out, so some people might be worried about that. I know the Mortal Kombat 2 Costco bundle was known for having a washed out light up marquee. Not the case here. The marquee looks beautiful. It's even tilted back slightly, so they really did customize the design of this cabinet, and of course there are those custom shaped side panels that I love. I'm so happy that Arcade1up is giving us more of that arcade authenticity with the cabinet design. Could they have sold a bunch of these without that? Yeah, I think they could have, but that extra added touch makes it so people like me just really want to have this in my game room.
My body is ready.
And honestly, I'm really glad I pre-ordered this, even with the faults I'm going to talk to you about. Only way I could imagine improving this would be to totally redesign the kick plate, but I don't expect them to do that anytime soon. I give it a 5 out of 5 for aesthetics. With regard to gameplay, the controls are not optimized for the marquee game. I recorded some other footage I'm going to show to go into detail on this, but to suffice it to say, it's not great. All right, guys, so here's the deal on the controls. I've got some good news, I've got some bad news. This control panel comes with 8-way restrictor plates. That's what this is. Now, if you're like I used to be, I was confused by this. How's it 8-way if it's square? Surely that means 4-way. But no, if you think about it, you can do up, down, left, right, and diagonal with the square gate. Now, some people assume this would come with a switchable gate. It does not. It comes with a Sanwa clone part. The real Sanwa parts, which I've replaced on this board, this is not what it came with. These are, in fact, switchable. You just push up from underneath. You have to take this plate off, but you push up from underneath on the inside ring, pivot it until you get a diamond shape, which is what this is. I've gone ahead and done a diamond shape on one side and a square on the other, simply so I can compare side by side. And I actually have this in the wrong place, so it needs to be here for player 1, but I'll fix that later. Point is, out of the box, this is wired and rigged up for an 8-way control scheme, which is perfect if you bought this to play Caveman Ninja or Bad Dudes. But if you're like most people, you bought this for BurgerTime. And if that's the case, I think you're going to want a 4-way control scheme, not an 8-way control scheme. So here are your options. One, you can buy the Sanwa part. They're very cheap, $6-7 for a pack of 2 on Amazon. I'll put a link below. And you simply switch them to 4-way, like diamond shape, like I have here. Clip them in, you're done. Now that means you're only rigged up for 4-way, and every time you want to play an 8-way game, you have to again remove this piece and switch it back and do everything all over again. Now I doubt you want to do that because honestly just taking the dust cover off of this is itself a hassle and not at all helpful if you're just wanting to switch between games quickly. So here is my other potential solution. Now, I can't vouch for sure that this works. I've put in my order. It's going to be a week or 2 before I have them, so I'll report back to you and I'll put it up on the screen now. These are magnetically switchable plates that you can switch from above the control panel. You don't have to take anything apart. You simply pull up on the stick and turn it, as I understand. Now that is a 3D printed plate restrictor gate, which is what these are, that somebody designed. I'll put a link below for the plans. If you have access to a 3D printer, you could print these out yourself for free. You just have to add magnets Looks simple enough. The only catch is whether or not it will fit these joysticks. I read in some of the comments that it fits some Sanwa clone sticks and not others. If it does work, that would be a really good solution for you to be able to dynamically switch between 4-way and 8-way. Setting that aside, the quality of the controls themselves, the sticks and the buttons are very good. These sticks are very good Sanwa clones. They feel great. While that doesn't make up for the fact that the gameplay of BurgerTime, the marquee title here, is very much challenged with the sticks as they're currently configured, I have to also be honest and tell you these are high quality controls. Now, I would have liked to see name brand controls at this price point, which I'll come back to in value. But if we're talking about gameplay, taking into account the high quality of the controls, but also the fact that out of the box, this thing does not perform properly for all of the games included, including the primary game of BurgerTime, I have to give this a 2 out of 5. I appreciate the variety of games they've given us, and while Karate Champ isn't for everyone, it is a big part of arcade history, and I personally appreciate having it in my game room. I played Bad Dudes a handful of times in the arcade. I do enjoy that game, and I'm excited to have it. It seems like a lot of folks who buy this don't really care too much about Bad Dudes or Caveman Ninja, and I wouldn't argue with that. You know, if you don't like those games, that's fine. I don't know that Bad Dudes is a particularly great beat 'em up. But I think it's fun. I think it's cool. It's so cheesy and over the top. It's like the most early 90s thing you've ever seen outside of Predator or something. So I like having that. Caveman Ninja is new to me. I'm not familiar with it. I've only played through it for a few minutes before this review. So I'm not going to tell you it's good or great. You've probably played it at some point. I have not. I think the graphics, however, are bright and fun. It looks really good. It kind of reminds me of Airzone visually, even though the artwork is totally different, but just the color palette. But that's an old TurboGrafx game. But more than that, I really appreciate having both the score chasing game like BurgerTime alongside a little bit more modern games. I mean, they're not super new, but games that you can have a lot of fun playing through different levels and maybe a little bit more approachable for friends who aren't familiar with some of the older arcade games. Now, this is my personal preference, but I'm perfectly fine. It's not ideal, I'll grant you, but I'm fine with having horizontal games like Bad Dudes alongside vertical games like BurgerTime. Doesn't bother me that much. The black bars aren't a big deal. The 17-inch monitor, in my view, is sufficient when you're standing right in front of it, that even when the game is cropped down, it's okay. That works for me, so I'm not really taking anything off for that. So for the games list, given that we've got some hits and misses here with Karate Champ, a lot of people don't like. I like having it, but overall, I think this is a 4 out of 5 for the games offered. As I think you can hear, there is a pretty distinctive difference in loudness with the 2-speaker Marvel cabinet. Now, even with the trade-off of a less loud gameplay, I prefer the single speaker. I like that they've taken the time to center it, just like the original BurgerTime and a lot of single speaker arcade cabinets from that era. When it comes to value, you probably already know the price. This is $400 plus shipping. It's available at Arcade1up.com only, so there will be no Walmart clearances here. And you're either okay with that price or you're not, and I can't really tell you one way or the other. I mean, that's your choice. I don't fault Arcade1up for pricing it the way they did, honestly. I wish it would be a little bit cheaper, but really I wish they would have just given us a little bit more value. I'll come back to that. But at the end of the day, they were smart to price this high. People who love BurgerTime or just really want it in their arcade for the reasons I mentioned earlier, we're going to pay whatever to get that into the house, and there may be a limited number of us. BurgerTime doesn't have the same pull as a Pac-Man. It doesn't have the same widespread appeal. So it makes sense to go for a lower volume, higher cost product to get this out and maximize the revenue that Arcade1up's going to make. I just cannot hate on that. That's what I would have done if it were my choice. All that said, and I've said before, the controls are high quality here, so I don't want to overstate this, but for $400, I would like to know I'm getting name brand controls, like what they did with the Marvel cabinet. Some people complained Marvel limited edition was $400. I was waving the banner that I think that's a great price. We're getting all Sanwa controls. I thought that was a good value, along with beautiful artwork, the marquee that lights up, all the same stuff we're getting with BurgerTime, but we just got name brand, slightly more expensive controls. I think that would have put this over the top to be a better value than it is by just a little bit. But when I think about value, the single biggest item is not the price for me. It's that fact that not all the games fit the same control scheme. You're probably sick of hearing me say it, but listen, I can't talk about whether or not this cabinet's worth 400 plus without bringing up the fact that you're going to have to buy some other accessories, and not even official accessories either. So there's going to be some jerry rigging involved to get this thing up to anything near arcade quality for gameplay, and that's a problem. So I ordered a custom part, or a few custom parts, to try to get this thing to work. That was $30, which isn't a ton of money. It'd be less if I had my own 3D printer. So you kind of have to add that to the cost, and then you just hope that that works, because it's not an official part. We don't know for sure that it will fit these joysticks until I actually get it and try to test it out. All that considered, I'm giving this for overall value a 3 out of 5, given both the price and the fact that it isn't perfectly optimized. Looking in totality for this cabinet, would I recommend it to someone? Honestly, despite the massive glaring flaw that would have easily been remedied by just picking different games, yeah, I would. If you like BurgerTime, the artwork is super beautiful. You can, worst case scenario, just optimize the sticks for 4-way, ignore the 2 games that need 8-way, and just play it as BurgerTime. That's super lame because you're paying for all the games. The menu is populated with those games. I'm not necessarily advocating for that, but if you love BurgerTime, there is a way to play it the right way, and it's hard to argue with that. But at the end of the day, it's your call. Well, you guys let me know what you think. You may not be worried about the 4-way or the 8-way. You may just like this for the look of it, or maybe more commonly, probably, you don't care about the 8-way games at all. Throw those out. Get them out of there. I don't feel that way, but many of you seem to. Let me know what you guys think below, and if you enjoyed watching, like the video. That helps elevate this content. We're a small independent creator, and it's helpful, and I always very much appreciate it when you guys throw down on a like or a comment, or hell, do both. I hope this helped entertain you through the lockdown. I hope you're all staying very safe. Don't go out any more than you have to. You've already heard it before, but hopefully us YouTube guys can help keep you a little bit entertained on your days off or your downtime. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you again real soon.
All because